Does anyone have a question? Hmm. Does anyone have a question? It seems like more and more people are reading and going to my website and listening to these audios and reading the stuff I write. And one of the responses I get is really surprising, where people have run up against serious blocks in their life, and they never really have practiced deep meditation and built a system to where they can overcome those blocks by connecting with spirit, by opening the heart, getting centered inside. And the people seem to want immediate answers. They want to overcome things that they've spent a lifetime developing in themselves right now, not understanding that the conundrum of inner blocks and that whole enigma that exists inside a human being is something that's built up over years and years and years and years. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes really a need inside to have a spiritual life that will help a human being overcome whatever blocks, whatever problems they have inside themselves. But I think, one of the strangest things is seeing people want instant answers. Make it go away now. Do some magic formula or something that's going to make it go away. And there is a magic formula. It's called working on yourself. Over time, that's the fastest path to get free of things that block you inside. Doing the inner work and having patience and allowing yourself to move forward step by step by step. Making each step a sacred movement that gets you closer to your enlightenment, something to be treasured, to be conserved, to not be wasted. And I think, most people suffer from this type of thing. Most people suffer from a disease called procrastination. I've invented a new disease. called procrastination. And most people suffer from that. They think they have forever to do it. And they're given a certain period of time, whatever their karma happens to be. And instead of recognizing the precious nature of time, they recognize the precious nature of procrastination, of delaying and delaying and delaying and putting it off and putting it off. And I got this and I got that and I got the other and blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, people get too old to even have the energy to do deep inner work. Does anyone have a question? And it's not becoming a fanatic. What's fanatical about sitting down every day for a half hour or coming to a meditation class? Nothing. I mean, nobody's requiring anyone to join an ashram, to become part of a cult, to become this, a religious fanatic. A half hour a day, 45 minutes a day to take care of yourself, to do what is necessary in order to build a life that will connect one to spirit. Come to meditation class. So funny, I've heard probably every excuse under the sun of why people can't make it to meditation class. And I have only one excuse why I can't make it to anything else. Meditation class. Which I find to be essential for my life. And essential to make everything else work in a conscious way. My interactions with people, love, joy, the economics of life, the material nature of life. It all works because the chakra system is developed and Shakti can flow through each chakra and give one the strength to be able to do it and be free of it at the same time. Does anyone have a question? Somebody have a question. I have a question. Does anyone have a question? Okay.
I have a question, Stuart. It's Irene here.
Yes, Irene.
I'm having a hard time accepting certain things in my life that are difficult, and I guess I just want to understand how to actually use the practice in the practical way to accept things that I may not like.
Look, you can spend the rest of your life fighting with these things, or just accept them. Accept the fact that there are negative things in the world. There are things you don't like. There are things that are difficult. And by accepting the fact that this exists, you will stop fighting with them. And you'll use the same energy to build your inner life, which will get strong enough to be able to deal with all of these things as they manifest. So much energy is spent fighting these things instead of, all right, this is my life. This is what I have to deal with. And allow, look, these negative things, the things you don't like about life are very important teachers because they're telling you where you fall short of a state of unconditional love, of deep surrender, They're just a reminder. And instead of allowing them to disrupt your whole inner life to get you unhappy and upset, just say, okay, thank you. You're showing me the things I have to work on inside myself. And the energy that we use in order to battle all of these things we don't like in life, same energy can be used to building a chakra system that gets us strong enough to be able to deal with all these things without any of them throwing our life off balance. Now, this is not easy to do. It takes time and training to learn how to do this. But how much energy it saves and how much time it saves and how much negative, ranting inside us it saves us from, how much fear it saves us from. We just, all right, this is what I have to deal with. And be grateful for it because it's showing you a way that you can get very strong inside yourself if you're willing to do the work on yourself, to build the inner strength in which those experiences begin to dissolve and fall away. You get stronger than them. The energy of spirit is much stronger than the things you like and dislike. And those things we like and dislike, they just eat us up. Instead of, okay, this is what I got to do. And instead of dislike, just smile and, tongue in cheek, crack a few jokes about it. Get a lightness of being in yourself about the things that are difficult for you and recognize them. They're just your teacher. Now, this is not an easy thing to accept, but my God, if you learn how to do this, it'll save you a lot of aggravation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Irene, I think you're working very well on yourself. And all these things are coming up because you spent your entire life burying them inside you. And now you're really having the opportunity to work through these things and get free of them for the rest of your life. They've been buried inside. They're coming up because you're getting more open. I mean, my teacher, Rudy, always compared it to dredging a river. All the garbage comes to the surface. And then you got to clean it out of the river. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Hi, Stuart. Hi. Talking about the same topic of acceptance. I know that they say that.
Aileen, sit still. Ask the question from quietly from inside yourself. You don't have to move and fidget and, just ask me the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
I feel like really good, like something really, really great is happening inside of me. I feel like amazing, like really peaceful. But when I see the physical reality, my environment, it looks totally different. So how can you have that trust and patience so it can start reflect in your physical reality, that peace, that happiness?
Look, I understand this very well. And the only answer I have to this question is the madness of the world is never going to go away. People's poverty, the wars, all the stuff that goes on in the world. As long as I'm a lot older than you are, and I can't remember a day in my life where there hasn't been a war somewhere on the earth, where there haven't been starving people somewhere on the earth. And when I was younger, I used to protest, and I would, march and fight the Vietnam War, marching, protesting until I would, finally was so exhausted that I began to look at the world in a different way. I began to see the world as everybody must work to fix themselves. If this world is going to change, each and every human being has to go deep enough inside themselves to transform their pain, their unhappiness, that part of them that's a terrorist, that part of them that lords it over other people and, creates slavery in this world and everything else. Each and every human being is going to have to go inside themselves and fix themselves. I can't fix that, but I can fix me. I can get strong enough in myself where I can interact with the world with compassion. I can interact with the world with love. I can be kind to other people, and I can allow the madness of the world to teach me what I have to do to continue to grow, that I don't want to become that way. Now, this was a major revelation in my life when I realized this. Completely changed me, transformed me. It enables me to do what I do today. But that is the work. And I hate to say it, and it's almost a term, every human being, in order for this world to change, every human being is going to have to change inside themselves. As long as one mind is ticking in this world, there's going to be a war somewhere. Whether it's in a family, with friends, at the job, there's going to be something crazy going on. Now, will the world do this? You have 8 billion people. I think I'm not naive. It's not going to do this, but you can do it. I can do it. And then all of the madness. I wrote a book, a novel called Madness Falling from the Sky. It's a line I once read in a poem that I never forgot. And it's just what it is. It's almost like that insanity is created to remind us that we have to grow closer to God. We have no option, or it just sucks us right in, and that becomes our lives. We have to get stronger. God gives 8 billion people thousands of lifetimes to learn why they're born. But in this lifetime, we do a meditation that can get us strong enough to become enlightened. And getting enlightened means we fulfill the highest levels of our humanity. And what are they? Compassion, love, kindness, goodness, patience with people in life. So all of that stuff that goes on, all this madness in the Ukraine and Russia and China and all that insane politics, to me, it's just a reminder, Stuart, either grow or that's the kind of life you're going to live. And I much prefer the choice of getting closer to God and closer to, fulfilling the highest levels of my humanity than to get swept away in all this power and greed and stuff that is so powerful in the world today. And it's always been powerful in the world. I'll tell you a funny story. I'll never forget. I used to have this student. He was a rabbi, and he used to teach at the Hebrew seminary and in Cincinnati. And he invited me to his home, and I went to Cincinnati. I spent a few days, a weekend there. And this man spoke and read all the dead languages, Sumerian, Phoenician, et cetera, all of them. And we went to the Cincinnati Museum, and I'll never forget, they had all these tablets in these showcases written in Phoenician and Sumerian and all these dead languages, Babylonian and blah, blah, blah. And I said, now is my chance to find out the great secrets of the universe. So I said to him, David, you read all this stuff, translate this thing to me. And I'll never forget, he started reading, I'll trade you 1 sheep and 2 hens for a hide of a tiger. I mean, it was incredible. It was an invoice that somebody had written 3 centuries before, Christ, and there it is, the great mysteries in the universe. I mean, it just cracked me up. I said, Stuart, you just learned a very major lesson. All this bullshit has been going on since Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden. I'll never forget. And every one of these tablets, they were just all invoices, for God's sake. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, then there'll be class on Sunday. I suggest that you all go to my website tomorrow and read what has been written. It's very interesting. It's very interesting and very powerful. I think you might get something from that one. Does anyone else have a question? All right, there'll be class on Sunday. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you for being in my life, for being in these classes. And I honestly hope that you're benefiting as much from them as I am, because it's been extraordinary to do this. So bless you all. Thank you. And I'll hopefully see you all on Sunday.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Have a good night.
Good night.